For those of you who have followed the channel for a little while now, you would know I absolutely love defensive backs. I love studying the cornerback position in particular, and man oh man is the 2025 NFL Draft full of elite defensive backs. Up until this point, Sauce Gardner has been the best cornerback prospect I have seen in my 4 years of watching film. That changed this summer when I put on the film for Michigan cornerback Will Johnson. He is positively, absolutely unbelievable at the cornerback position. Today we are going to be talking about his strengths and talking about why I think he is a generational cornerback prospect. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, where for only $5 a month, you will get exclusive access to my draft guide, my evaluations, power rankings, and exclusive prospect interviews. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys want to see me talk about next, and without further ado, let's take a deeper dive into Will Johnson. If you look at some of the numbers from Will Johnson, he had an absurdly good season in 2023. Not necessarily the box score numbers, but his advanced stats are just nuts. In 321 coverage snaps, Johnson allowed 17 receptions on 37 targets, and that equated to 267 yards, 94 of which came after the catch. He allowed a 30.9 passer rating when targeted, and finished with 4 interceptions and 2 pass deflections, and helped lead Michigan to a national championship. His coverage stats are truly remarkable, and he was nearly impossible for opposing quarterbacks to try and throw the football against. The list of good things to say about Johnson could go on forever, but we've got to start with his size. Standing at 6'2", 202 pounds, Johnson has tremendous length and size to be a true number one corner on the boundary at the NFL level. He has the size you look for on the outside, and in terms of snap counts, a majority of his snaps did come on the outside for Michigan last year, and his body already looks like that of an NFL starting corner. On top of that, the numbers might not even reflect how good he was in man-to-man coverage. He was out of this world good. He has remarkable change of direction ability and can stop and go on a dime. He has fluid hips, and he just sticks to the wide receiver like glue. He was excellent in both off-man coverage and in press man. In off-man, he showed the closing quickness on the football that you look for, and his timing was impeccable. In press coverage, however, he showed some physicality and a very strong initial punch at the line of scrimmage, and he had the quickness to stay with receivers down the field. He didn't get overly physical, but he did have physicality that you looked for, and he was rarely penalized for it. He checks all the boxes in terms of man-to-man coverage. Johnson is just one of the most technically sound cornerbacks I've seen at the college level. We talked so highly of his man-to-man ability, but he's also very good in zone, with discipline, knowledge, and the instincts to make a play. In terms of quickness, hip fluidity, press coverage, zone coverage, off-man coverage, he has all the tools that you look for. He is super disciplined, which I absolutely love about him as well. No movement is wasted in his game, and he doesn't bite on double moves, and that was an area of his that I really loved. Even as a run defender, I thought he showed some potential, and he had 7 stops in 2023. He's got all the tools you look for in an elite cornerback prospect. In terms of weaknesses in his game, it's like pulling hairs. You're really looking for stuff here, but the couple things I will say, I didn't think Johnson was the fastest guy in the world. I don't think he's slow by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not the fastest player either, and that's okay. He's so technically sound and fluid at the position that he doesn't allow things over the top regardless of his speed. His longest reception allowed last season was 56 yards. I think his speed could be something people try and knock down, but it's really not an area of his that I'm really worried about. Another area that I didn't love about Johnson, he had some issues in terms of open field tackling. Even that, however, didn't feel like a major issue. He had a 13.3% missed tackle rate in 2023, which isn't great, but it isn't terrible either, but I'd like to see him be a little bit better at landing tackles. In terms of a scheme fit, I think Johnson could play in virtually any scheme in the NFL, but you're going to get the most out of him in a heavy man-to-man scheme that mixes up both press and off-man coverage. He's so technically sound and physically gifted in man-to-man that I feel like you're wasting his true potential in a heavy zone coverage scheme. While he could do that and be elite in those areas, I think he is just such a good man corner that's where I'd want to play him, and I think he projects to be a boundary corner in a heavy man scheme. Will Johnson might be the closest thing we've seen to a perfect cornerback prospect in a very long time. The size, the reaction time, quickness, the technique, the instincts, he has everything and then some. He is truly a generational talent at the cornerback position, and I think he is the best player in this draft class. Corner is such a premium position in today's NFL, and you can never really have too many of them, and I think he has everything that the NFL is looking for, and he is my clear-cut cornerback 1. A comparison that many people have been giving out that makes all the sense in the world to me is Denver Broncos cornerback Patrick Surtain. Both of them are outstanding in man-to-man coverage and are extremely technically sound. They have nearly identical size, measurables, and both have decent but not incredible speed. Surtain has been a top 3 cornerback in the league since he was drafted, in my opinion, and I think Will Johnson's going to have a very similar immediate impact as a rookie because he is so technically sound and so gifted at the position at such a young age. Will Johnson is a generational talent. He has all the tools in the world to be an elite corner at the NFL level, and I truly think that from the moment he is drafted into the league, he's going to be a top 10 corner in the NFL. I absolutely love Will Johnson, and I believe he will be a top 10 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.